What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to a different type of video, because this one I want to address one question that a lot of people have, and that is, what is the likelihood of seeing an additional stimulus check? What is the likelihood of seeing more stimulus payments in the infrastructure bill, which according to the GOP say only 5 to 7% of the next bill of the $2.25 trillion is even going to true infrastructure? Well, here's what we know. Democrats lately have been yelling and shouting from the rooftop saying that they are going to provide the American people with more money. Again, I'm not trying to be on the side of Republicans. I'm not trying to be on the side of Democrats. I'm trying to stay right in the middle. Here's what we're hearing. Democrats keep yelling from the rooftops how they're making such a difference for the American people and how the American Rescue Plan will change every single person's life. But here's the problem. The problem is right now they are saying that all these different pieces of legislation, the stimulus checks, the unemployment benefits, the child tax credits, funding for schools, funding for nutrition and rental assistance, these are really helping out the American people. But the problem is some of this money is not going out as fast as Democrats were hoping. The problem right now, and this is a major stimulus problem, the problem right now is money is being tied up for too long. It's not getting into the hands of the American people fast enough, which means they can't go and spend it, which means they can't prop up the economy, which also means they can't pay for food, they can't pay for their housing, and they can't pay for their essentials. This is a big problem. What we are hearing right now is that if we do not see the IRS make a very strong push to get the child tax credits and get this portal opened in June, the problem is the payments will not be able to start flowing in July. Some experts say there's very little chance the IRS gets this done in June, where we can either opt in or opt out of a monthly payment. And some are wondering, why would you opt out of a monthly payment? Well, if you make too much money, then yes, you would essentially opt out of the monthly payment, and you potentially would just do a child tax credit at the end of the year. And then that way you do not have to pay any money back if for some reason you made too much money and you didn't actually qualify for any benefits. That's the reason why you either opt in or opt out. Some would rather opt out and not get a monthly payment simply because they know they would spend it, they would waste it, and they would rather see a big lump sum at the end of the year of either $3,600 for a child between 0 and 5, or $3,000 for a child between 6 and 17. So there's different thinkings. However, the problem that Democrats are facing is the reason why this child tax credit is being seen as it's going to pull 50% of children out of poverty is simply because it's going to come out as a monthly payment. But the problem is if some people decide to opt out of a monthly payment and they get the lump sum at the end of the year, they would most likely take that money and buy something not for the children. And this is just what studies are telling us. Right now, what I can tell you is if you get a monthly payment, especially if it's $250, $300 per month, you're more likely, if that's coming for your children, you're more likely to spend that monthly, or at least a portion of that every single month if it's coming monthly. But if you get a lump sum at the end of the year, during tax time, chances are you're going to take that money and either buy something big, maybe a vacation, you're going to buy a new car, or you're going to be able to try to save it, and use that money to pay for certain things. Now, this isn't my thinking. This isn't what I'm telling you. This is what studies are showing us, that this is more likely to happen. And this is why this is a huge stimulus problem, is because if the IRS cannot do this, cannot put this portal in front of us so that we can start to use it, it's going to create a whole host of other issues. However, this is where everything really comes down to, okay, is the child tax credit, is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And if it does happen, what could we see as an event off of that? Right now, many economists are saying that without a child tax credit, all the Democrats' efforts were for nothing. They say without a child tax credit, tens of thousands would still be living on the streets. Millions will be food insecure, and many won't know what it's like to know when another payment is coming. What I can tell you right now is the IRS, if they cannot get these payments out quickly enough, if they can't get these payments out at least monthly, if not quarterly. Quarterly is seen as this is the worst case scenario. Now, worst case scenario is actually there's no payments at all. However, that's not going to happen because it's already written into the bill. It's already passed. So technically, the worst case scenario is we do not get this child tax credit as an advance. We get it at the end of the year when we file our taxes. But this doesn't do what Democrats want it to do. This could mean that right now many lawmakers are saying that if something has to change, then it needs to change. If the IRS can't get these payments out quick enough, then they need to provide more for those in need. This means additional stimulus checks are still on the table. I've been saying this for a few weeks now. Additional stimulus checks are not off the table. And I've been saying this exact same thing for weeks as well. If the child tax credit gets delayed, okay, this American Jobs Plan, this $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill, if this doesn't pass soon, okay, and I don't think it will, it's going to pass in the summer. Okay, it's going to pass in the summer. What happens in the summer? What happens in, let's say, July? In July, that's when the child tax credits should be coming. In September, first week of September, the unemployment benefits will expire after September 6th. What we know is that there's still rental assistance, nutrition assistance, there's pandemic EBT available to people and children, but this doesn't provide the guarantee, the consistency, the income that many people are looking for. And I said this earlier today because many people have already been saying this exact same thing long before I have. But what lawmakers are currently saying is that a stimulus check would provide a guarantee. Okay, we're going to give you this check. Now, I know some people are still waiting for their $1,400. Hopefully tomorrow you get it. But right now, that's what they're discussing. They want to see an additional stimulus check. They want to see an extension of unemployment benefits. They want to see a permanent change to the tax code to include this $3,000 and $3,600 child tax credit. They want to include all that. Even Chuck Schumer said today that, yes, he wants to see this as a permanent fixture in the next bill. He wants to see it as the permanent extension, not a one-year thing. What I can tell you right now is what we see regarding the child tax credit is going to play a major role in what we see moving forward. If we see, okay, and I'm just telling you, if we see the child tax credit get delayed, even if it's another month, I'm not going to come out and say 100% guarantee, but there's about a 90% chance we see an additional stimulus check before or in this next bill. And how it gets broken down, how it gets put into this, honestly, we don't know. But what we do know is right now there's 21 senators in the Senate that are for an additional stimulus check or additional direct payments. We also know there's 53 representatives in the House that are for, and these are pretty much all progressives. We haven't even heard from more moderates in the House as well. But right now, 53 progressives in the House are in favor of an additional stimulus check. They want to see an extension of unemployment benefits. They want to see this child tax credit go through. The problem right now that a lot of people aren't talking about is what happens if the child tax credit gets delayed too long. If it gets delayed, this is where a couple lawmakers are saying we have to pass an additional stimulus check. We shouldn't worry about extending the child tax credit when why would we extend something that is taking so long to even put into place? Why wouldn't we just give the American people the money up front? And so when this lawmaker said this, that got me thinking, well, if you're just going to give the money up front instead of an advance as a monthly payment, it's just a full-on frontal payment of the money. Well, if it's $3,000 and $3,600, does that mean this lawmaker is talking about a $3,000 stimulus check, a $3,600 stimulus check? It wouldn't be monthly; it would be a one-time payment. But is that what he's talking about? Honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But what I can tell you is right now, we are waiting on answers. We're waiting on a lot of answers. Right now, Congress, lawmakers are back at home, talking with their constituents, trying to figure out what exactly they want. What exactly they want to see. And if this next bill is anything like the previous $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, what I can tell you is, and we have multiple reports and confirmation of this exact thing, that Democrats passed bills, put bills into the American Rescue Plan that were popular amongst the American people, popular amongst the American voters. So if we see that exact same thing, the most popular pieces of legislation are the ones that are going to pass. What do you think that's going to be? Another stimulus check, an extension of unemployment benefits, right? A child tax credit extension of that as well. Those are very popular. Right now, we're not hearing too much about, oh, the American people want to see an increase in taxes, because if there's not an increase in taxes, how's this bill going to be paid for? Well, the only way right now, according to a few sources, is if we don't see, and this is something that, or the GOP, they kind of recommend this is something that they support, and also moderates as well, is let's not tax the larger corporations. We don't want to see them leave the country. We need to make sure that everything is good here. Make this country better. Well, how do we do that? Well, one of the ways that some moderates are talking about is let's just increase the gas tax. And by increasing the gas tax, what happens there is you and I, who drive cars that are fueled by gasoline, we have to pay more per gallon of gas. Well, if we can't afford to put food on the table now, we can't afford to pretty much eat anything. We can't afford to keep a roof over our head. We can't afford to pay the car that we're putting gas into. We can't buy insurance because we don't have any money. What do we do then? Well, if we increase gas taxes, why don't we also give a stimulus check? Well, then, okay, we're going to increase gas taxes. We're going to give everybody a stimulus check. And then the stimulus check, some of the money is going to go right back to the government anyway, because we got to pay for this gas tax. So right now, there's a lot of issues. But everything right now, it seems like it is boiling down to, when is the child tax credit going to go through? Right now, that's a big issue. I'm not saying it's the only issue. There's so many moving parts at this point. But what I can tell you is we are starting to get some answers. They're small answers, but we're moving a little closer. Hopefully, we have more answers soon. So, as always, as I know more, I promise I will share more. I just wanted to share this with you because I thought this was very interesting. This was very important to know. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.